Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind. Every Friday, we are here to get more productive, get more productivity out of the day. But at the end of the day, I've been thinking about this call, and I think it's just really simple. It's all about how to make more money in less time. I mean, let's face it, as mortgage professionals, that's what we're all here for. I mean, yeah, we love this business, but we want to make more money, and we want to do it more productively with less time. So, got my co-host here. What's up, Mr. Todd Bookspan?
Hey, not a whole lot. You know, we're not in the normal room here. It was being taken, so I had to just quick on the fly get adjusted here so I look good. So excited to be here with all of you guys this morning. So let's keep this thing rolling.
Right on. So I'm at Digital Mortgage 2017.
Yeah,
1,000 of. Oh yeah, gotta dig it up. 1,000 of. It's pretty much 1,000 people. It's who's who in technology in the mortgage space. I don't know if I'm going to have time to give a download because the priority today is to talk about the video contest that we did in the context of how does it make us more productive, how does it help us make more money in less time. And so I don't know how much I'll get into the tech, although I am going to do a briefing between now and Monday. So if I don't get to it, I'm going to make a video for our community. If you do have questions about what's going on here at Digital Mortgage 2017, put a question in the GoToWebinar and we'll get to that. Also, I want to bring on the screen Robert Stover, if you don't mind sharing your screen. Robert was one of the judges for the referral magnet contest. What's up, Mr. Stover?
How's it going, sir?
Good. Okay, by the way, can everybody hear me okay? Is my voice coming through well?
You forgot to wear your pants, though.
Yeah, right.
Don't step away from the camera.
Hey, can you all see us? Someone's saying that there's no video. Is anyone or more of you seeing that? I'm looking at the notes. Or if you guys can just comment any questions, make sure you guys can all see us.
By the way, anybody who said that, it's on your end. And if you click the GoToWebinar icon, everything will pop up for you. I am going to share my desktop real quick. Just remind everybody about our Insane Productivity or Productivity with Mortgage Coach Facebook group. If you're watching this video, you're on this call, and you aren't already a member, make a request, and we'll bring you into this awesome community. I also want to shine a light on the fact that a lot of the videos and the contests that we did, I showcased here. Also, we made a playlist. So there's an actual Mortgage Coach playlist of all the videos. The winner was Jenny Stoner. Jenny was not able to be on today's call because she's got a family commitment, but we are going to give a breakdown of why we gave Jenny the win on this, why she earned the win, and then we're going to go through, for sure, we're going to talk about the top 4, and then Stover, if we could, I'm going to look through and see of the participants that created a video, who's on the call, and let's try to make sure anybody that's on this call, we give them some feedback on our video. So, Stover, why don't we start with just kind of going through some of the thoughts you had on why we picked Jenny as the winner, some of the other videos, and then Robert's prepared a briefing based off of what he saw in some of the best practices. And so after we give some feedback, we'll do a briefing. Sound good, Stover?
Sure. So here's why I went with Jenny. And first of all, everyone that did these, I mean, you know, from the ones that won to the ones that didn't, you're already light years ahead of your competitors, so know that. So a lot of these things were great. Like some were creative and fun. Some were extraordinarily educational. And so for me, I'm a marketing guy, and it came down to what's most likely to reach out into the market and bring a lead back now. That was kind of my prime criteria as I looked at these. And so as I looked, Jenny's had a lot of the things that would do that. And a powerful story, a powerful headline, strong call to action, things like that. So that's why I leaned to that one. There were some others that were like really close in there, but hers, I thought, okay, if I got to pay money to run this as an ad, which one's most likely to bring leads back to me the fastest? My vote went to Jenny's. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you netted it out right there. You know, our goal was called the referral magnet contest. I was looking at things like, is it quality enough that it's not going to be distracting? So it didn't need to be too quality, but even our YouTube expert, who's got one of the top YouTube digital agencies in the country, you know, does Nike commercials on YouTube. He was like, as long as the quality isn't distracting, it's all good. So that kind of came down to, would it get watched by a prospect? Would it generate a lead? Does it also increase your trust and credibility? So even if someone's watching it and they're not an immediate prospect, you've kind of elevated your status as someone that you could trust and someone that you could respect. And I think a lot of them met that bar. But, you know, to your point, Robert, this one rose to the top because it was the most likely that if we put $100 and promoted it on Facebook, we'd get the most leads back. So I think it was that simple. Todd, do you have any comments on Jenny before we roll through some of the others?
Absolutely. Yeah, what I loved about it was it told a story. And so I did a radio show for 5 years, and the number one thing that I would tell my guests when they got on is, it's one thing if you're going to tell us about taking money out of your house, that's one thing, but it's something totally different if you actually give an example of it, real life, that someone can relate to. And so what I loved about it was, is if I was thinking about doing some home improvements and I lived wherever it is that she lives, where she's got that nice accent that I don't have from, that I would totally want to reach out to her if I had that similar situation. So I just remind people, think about the story that you're telling, and is it relatable to the people who are going to watch?
Love it. So by the way, if you were on the call and you'd like to ask a question, or you are one of the contestants and you want to make sure that we cover your video, raise your hand so I can unmute you, and you can be part of the conversation. Frank Blakely, I see you here. I'm gonna unmute you when we get to your video. But like I said, if you're on this call and either you have a question or you want to share something, raise your hand. Oh, by the way, Tristan just raised his hand. Hey, how you doing, Tristan? Dave Savage here.
Doing well. How are you guys?
Good, good. So we loved your video. By the way, in the mortgage, it was one of the first called creative videos. I mean, a super creative video, and the internal team at Mortgage Coach really dug it. So thanks for raising your hand. Did you have a question, or you just want to make sure we talk about your video and give you feedback on it?
No, I mean, for me, I look at it, the video is a little bit longer than what a video should be, and so the fix to that was to try and make it somewhat entertaining. People will stay with a video if it's entertaining or educational, but other than that, 15 seconds, they're out.
Yeah. So, good point. I don't think there's a 15-second video, but I mean, you can make a video. The more, it's 1 minute to target, and really 90 seconds. You know, I found myself going through these videos, and almost no matter how good they were, at 90 seconds, I was kind of like,
yeah.
It was kind of like, you know, and again, I am legit ADD, but I think that 90 seconds or less is the goal for a referral magnet video. You know, so
I agree. I think
that's good. When
you look at a 2 minutes, and all the research I've done says 2 minutes is kind of the longest you ever want to make it. I think it's a minute and 26 seconds is what's statistically ideal. But what ends up happening is, if it's not entertaining, most of the time you'll see people start a video and then click out of it within about 15 seconds.
Yeah. So Mr. Stover, our marketing expert here, what are some of your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I would go with I changed one word, but to his point, you got about 5-10 seconds. The point of difference would be entertaining. What it has to be is interesting to them. Entertaining is one way to be interesting, and we'll talk about that. I've got some tools here for the folks coming up, but you got to grab them. That doesn't have to be entertainment, but it can be entertainment. Entertainment's a fine way to do that.
Yeah. So takeaway for everybody, 90 seconds is the bullseye, and in the first 5 to 10 seconds, you've got to hook them. You either need to say something bold and interesting, or you need to entertain them in a way that they're gonna stay in the video. Robert, any other feedback on this particular video before I give my breakdown on it?
No, not specifically.
Okay. I would compliment you on how you integrated the total cost analysis into the video. So you were talking, you were speaking to it. Kudos to you for creating some edits that showed the TCA. A thought of improvement is, and I saw this with other people, you would show bar charts and graphs, but they weren't necessarily relevant to the story. And I do think that as we iterate and we do another round of this contest, if we can, be staring a story, a strategy, or in this particular case, you were showcasing a capability that you have, if you could show that visually in a way that people can connect. Again, not easy to do, but I don't think it's impossible to do. And actually, as we start helping you guys edit and upgrade these, we're going to start, coming up with some best practices so that you can, create a recording of your phone, which, by the way, I don't know if everybody knows it, one of the new features of iOS 10 is that you can actually record a screenshot of your mobile device. So there's a super easy button. I can do it. So if you can see my screen right here, this little button right here, I click that button and it will record my screen. So you could record your screen going through the mobile device, telling a story, and then you could integrate that into your video. So we'll talk about that more later.
And my editing, I was in a hurry, but just so everybody knows, everything on this was edited on my iPhone. I didn't ever transfer anything to a desktop. Everything from the side-by-side video, everything was, so you don't need a lot of fancy equipment. You can do it with your iPhone easily.
So you did that. What program did you use? Yeah, what program was it you used for that?
I use several different programs normally when I do it. I'll whatever I'm trying to do, whether it be an overlay or some editing, I'll do it in one program, save it, and then I'll reload it to the new program and go from there.
Would you mind putting a post in our Facebook group with the different apps that you use so that we're like, hey, this video, and repost your video. So like in this video, these are the apps and tools that I use to create it. Would you mind posting that?
No, absolutely.
How long did that take?
What was that?
I said, how long did the editing take?
So from shooting the video to end, I spent about 2 hours. So I was kind of in a rush, but that's about how long it took me.
So I love that, 2 hours, and it's a super solid video. One thing I want to throw out there too is I know Tristan's going to be at Sales Mastery next week. So if you guys didn't see Dave's post about the happy hour he and I are putting together for all of our insane productivity friends from Mortgage Coach, we would love anyone who's going to be there. Make sure that you connect with me or Dave so we can all get together there and hang out for a little bit.
Looking forward to it.
By the way, I just shined a light on that in our Facebook group, but Todd and I put a post up right an hour and a half before opening night. We're going to meet up. Todd and I will let you know where, a bar somewhere, and Todd and I will buy the first drink. We probably shouldn't drink too much before going to opening night. Who knows, I might be drinking water. But we're going to be there to meet up for, an hour or so before opening night. So heads up on that. Look forward to seeing a lot of you there. Stover, if you don't mind, Robert, let's give some feedback to Lori Richardson. When we look at all the judges, so Jenny did win, Lori did get a vote, and Frank got a vote also, and then so did Brian. So, we were not unanimous where every judge picked the same video. Any feedback you could give to Lori?
This was a close one for me. Almost there. And this is the one that I told you, I think the words I used was stone cold professional. Her vocal quality, the control, the authority, it was all good, and I think just the story edged it out for me. But this was a solid video. And if people want to go back and look at her vocal quality and how she presented and the conciseness of it, it was professional. She was very controlled, very in control of it. And no matter what happens at the end of the day, people are going to know, like, trust her at the end of this one. So this is one of my almost winner contenders.
Yeah, no, Lori, if you're listening to the recording or if you're on this call, and by the way, if Lori or someone from your team is on this call, if you could raise your hand, I would love to get some feedback from you. Lori, if you could, or if you listen to the recording of this, if you could go to the Facebook group and let us know what tech you use, you know, what camera, if you edited this in-house, what tools did you use, and how much time was involved in creating this video. But agreed. I mean, there was a point where we thought this was going to be the winner, and it was really close between this one and Jenny. And then, of course, Brian created a stone cold awesome video called Extreme Mortgage Transparency. Robert, you mind giving some feedback on this one?
No, again, this was the other one that was right up there. This is one that may have suffered from a little too much editing, but it was still professional and things. I think, I'm trying to go off memory now, this one lacked the appeal of the story. But again, this one, it's like, well, you're criticizing them, but there's no doubt that a consumer or a client or a realtor or anyone else watching that would go, oh, this guy's a professional, I can trust him. That's why in this video contest there weren't really any losers, because they all upped people's authority game.
Yeah, no doubt. Authority was created, trust was created. It got edged out to the story, and then it was under a minute. So I mean, I think everybody should look at this and say, hey, look what you could do in 47 seconds, because he really did tell a lot. If he would have built it around, saving a family money, whether it was a purchase, and it was built around a story. And then I like the ending. I thought it was super tight, super clean. I mean, it was edited. I mean, it was in front of a green screen, and it had a look. But I thought it was great. My two suggestions would be get a better headline. Well, the headline's great, but if there was a headline, I think there's a lead gen story to be told by you, Brian. And then if you actually showed the mobile, the graph and chart move in a way that aligned with the story. So keep it under a minute, 10 seconds of app telling the story, compelling headline, and this is a monster.
What about like a series? What about a mortgage transparency series with Brian LaFlame, where he uses part of this video, throws a story in the middle, and then ends, and then he just rotates that as his ad with a better title, so he can tell a story like Jenny told about a cash out refinance. He can tell a story about a first-time home buyer, rent versus buy analysis. What do you think about an idea like that, guys?
It's a great idea. What do you think, Robert?
Yeah, when we get to the template I've got for everybody, I want to talk about headlines and what is a good and not a good headline, because like extreme mortgage transparency, and I would come back and go, is a consumer waking up in the middle of the night going, oh my word, I need mortgage transparency? So we'll talk about that. So there's things that we as professionals go, oh, that's odd. Oh, transparency, absolutely, that's it, right? But when we get in the mind of the market, it's something different. And that was a common theme, like as I look through these, and I want to give the guy something to help him with that, is to get into the mind of the market and hook. So what we think's something hot may not be.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, remember, if you have questions or you want to share what your favorite is, let us know what your favorite is. Tristan, I am going to lower your hand. If you do want to jump back into the conversation, raise your hand up. Let's give Frank Blakely some feedback. And by the way, Frank is on the call. Frank, I am unmuting me. Oh, you know what? Frank, you're going to need to put in your PIN. It's #103# in order for me to be able to unmute you. Again, Frank Blakely, #103#, and then I can unmute you. But Robert, if you could give some feedback, and then I'll give a round of my feedback. And by the way, before Robert, you go, this did get a vote for the win. Coach Bill Hart picked this as his favorite, and it was his favorite. It was really, really well done, and I'll tell you what I like about it in a minute. But Robert, why don't you give your feedback on it?
Yeah, I love this one. Again, it was a lot of fun, and I did like how it started with the consumers in a conversation they may be having. Yeah, it's again the critiques. You could tighten it up a bit, things like that. Another thing I liked about it is I think Frank is the only one brought up the fact that with the mortgage coach, once that you had the meeting, when they're out shopping and looking around and looking at homes, he can update live on their cell phone as they shop. and update information, update things, update information. I didn't even actually know that about the live. I knew you'd sit down at a total cost. I didn't know people could walk around with it live. I think just that alone could be a whole other video. And so anyway, I like that video.
Yeah, by the way, I absolutely love this video. I love the way it started, where it took a conversation that buyers and borrowers have it in their head, and then it drove them through a perfect loan process. And this video actually, I think, innovated my thinking, this whole contest and how we bring leadership to our community around videos is that, while the contest was lead magnet, something that would get, so a buyer would watch it, and then they would call you and give you a lead. And my only concern was, as far as someone that's like a suspect, you're just promoting it, it's not going to get as many views as Jenny's. So, I mean, that's why Jenny won. But by the way, if someone did watch this, they would absolutely do business with you. And then it also got me thinking there's another category, and call it the perfect loan process video. So that's someone that, as part of your perfect loan process, maybe before they come in and meet with you, this is a video that you drive them through, so that when they come into your meeting, one, they're like, these are cool people. I've got to get this app downloaded. So this would do a nice job of making that customer like you, trust you, and be ready to be a better customer. So to me, this is a video you might want to integrate. And again, if you really had that intention that I'm creating a video that's part of my perfect loan process to bring my customers through, maybe you would do some things differently in it. But it was great editing, well shot, great story. To the Frank Blakely team, you guys crushed it. And within the Mortgage Coach culture and the staff and our marketing team, this was absolutely one of everybody's favorite. We really dug it. Let's see if Frank has become all right. Where I don't see.
Got a hand up, but it's still not audio connected. So make sure you enter that PIN, Frank, through your system.
Yeah. So Frank, you need to input pound 103 pound on your phone, or go to your computer. So by the way, Tristan raised his hand again. What's up, Tristan? Did you have a comment or question?
I show my hand down. I didn't raise it.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. I'm going to remute you. And I'm going to take your hand down. All right. And then let's see. I think Frank was. All right. Frank, you have been unmuted. Any comments or questions, my friend?
No, I think my team was really on the educational train, like you mentioned, about in process, rather than the ad type of video. So we'll reconstruct that a little bit to be shorter and more of a faster pool. But yeah, we were really going the educational route.
Yeah, and you really did a fantastic job. By the way, folks, Frank Blakely is in the 1,000 Club. I mean, this is a guy who's done over 1,000 Mortgage Coach reports, delivers a lot of value in the marketplace with Mortgage Coach, and you're a great champion within Bay Equity to help us, grow the Mortgage Coach mission within Bay Equity. So appreciate it. I would love for your team to create another video and that is focused on the lead magnet, because we're already helping you guys convert. And I would also, I'm thinking we're going to do a contest on in-process video. So to me, there's two categories. There's the lead magnet video, and then there's the perfect loan process with Mortgage Coach video. And I think it will be interesting to see where that goes. But reminder to everybody, for another week, through next week, we're going to announce another winner. Everybody is welcome to resubmit your video, update it, and we're going to have another person that we're going to work on. And for now, our marketing team is going to work with Jenny. We're coming up with headlines. We're going to help her market it. Let's see who else is on the call. By the way, Frank, anything else you want to ask or add to the conversation right now?
Yeah, so to go to the educational part, we just checked at the analytics. Over 50% of the views stayed on watching the video for over 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's by the way, that is super high. I mean, most videos, get watched for less than 15 seconds, and to have a minute, 4 minutes, and you got 2 minutes of their attention, something to be said there. And that's something else to think about for folks. I'm not saying never do a 5-minute video. I mean, I think there is a time and place in the process for that video, but be intentional about what you said and did in the first 90 seconds. Don't just save all the best for last, because they may never get to the end. And I do see that a lot with longer videos where, all the gold is in the last 15 seconds. Be thoughtful about that.
Well, I think one of the great things about that is the education piece that you're talking about. I think if it's on your website and clients who are finding you and want to check you out, I think that's just the education piece is really important. Someone who's not sure who to choose as a loan officer will absolutely love that.
Right on. Frank, anything else to add before we have Stover provide a briefing with some best practices?
That is it. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, raise your hand if anything else comes to mind. I really hope to see you guys continue to create these types of videos and be part of this project with the Mortgage Coach. Roberto Monaco is going to be recording a video with his feedback on some of the videos and some of his best practices. So keep an eye on our YouTube channel, and keep an eye. I'll post it in this group. Within the next day or two, we'll have a video from Roberto Monaco. He's my speaking coach. And, I've interviewed Roberto a number of times, so keep an eye out for that. So what I'd like to do now is Mr. Stover has a gift for all of us. He had some takeaways from this. He saw some common themes, and he is going to provide us with a briefing of some best practices. So, Robert, why don't we try to keep it to, 10, 15 minutes, and then let's have another 15 minutes at the end of the call for any more questions that come up from the audience. Sound good, man?
Sure. So yeah, keep me on track if I drift. All right. So I looked at I went through them all, and there were some common problems and misses and things that kind of came up. And I was thinking, like, well, I want to address them all individually. And then I thought, what would solve them is if I gave you guys a template that you could use to create persuasive videos. But then to go a step farther, the same template that I'm going to give you would work for emails as well. So, for example, with a lot of these videos, you're going to want to send an email out. The same thing would be true for the email as well. It would be true for ads that you do or anything that you do. So this is what I'm going to give you is a fundamental influence persuasion template that you can real quickly use to get messages. So, Dave said we want to create more money in less time. So this is to help you create more money-getting videos, more money-getting ads, more money-getting emails in less time. And it's kind of like sitting with me, and if I were to interview you through and how we go about creating a message. And then I wanted to give you a super simple formula to use when putting the pieces together in the video. So that's kind of the purpose of this, is to shortcut your time and get a very professional, from an influence persuasion perspective, template that's just going to work rock solid time and again. I'm not the guy to go to for the editing and how it looks or what your background is or more of your professional communication style, things like that. But this is just creating a foundational, fundamental, persuasive influence message that works. So we'll get into that from here. There's 4 steps you're going to go through. The first is purpose. And a lot of the videos that were good but missed it had confused purposes. Like some would start off talking to a realtor, and then they'd switch at the end to talking to an end consumer. Some were going right for a referral, some were going for education, some were trying to do both in the same message. So as Dave knows from our years and years of working together, I'm a huge proponent of single purpose messages. Create another message if you need to, but boil your message down to a very tight single purpose of what you want to do. So what I've done is I've just thrown up, for the Mortgage Coach community, what's the purpose of this video? Is it to sell a referral partner? Is it to sell a consumer on choosing me versus someone else? Is it to generate leads from my client database? To generate referrals from my client database? Is it to cause a referral partner to send me referrals right now? Is it to do a consumer direct lead gen piece, maybe through Facebook or something else, where I take control and run some ads and things like that? So really getting tight on that focus is going to help a lot of you actually create shorter but more impactful videos as it goes on. Number 2 is getting, okay, here's my purpose to do this. It almost goes with the avatar. Avatar, I used to use the word target. I finally said,
Robert?
Yeah.
Robert? Hey, I wanted to jump in before we go off of purpose. So I do a couple asks. As we do this next contest, I would love it when you make your, send your video to us and let us know what the purpose is. What are the goals you hope to achieve? And I do want to remind folks, I absolutely believe there is a place for a video that prepares the client to be a perfect client and go through a perfect process. So if the goal is I made this video to give to prospects so that when they meet with me, they have the app downloaded and they're better prepared for an advisory consultation, let us know that. So I'm also looking forward to seeing all the different purposes that you have. So I want everybody to be in the moment and focus on Robert, but I also would love to get some feedback from everybody on what are the purposes, like why do you create video? So looking forward to the feedback, and Robert, continue with the avatars.
All right. So avatar is your target. That's who specifically are you targeting, and having that really clear in your mind. For example, like I said, on some of these, the avatar would shift during the video. And so what we want is just crystal clear focus on who am I going for. Is this my client database? Is it specifically past clients in my database? Or am I trying to get past clients to send me a referral? Or am I trying to get past clients to raise their hand and say I'm in the market? Be really clear on your purpose there and who your real target is as it goes through. Am I going after financial planners? Am I going after CPAs, new home buyers, move-up buyers, investors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So purpose and who you're targeting. Those two things would have taken a lot of those almost runner-up videos and moved them into the top. That alone. And so this is a process I go through. If I'm going to sit down and write people's stuff, and sometimes it starts the other way around. I go, well, who are we targeting? And then I ask, well, what's the most we can expect? What's the biggest action I could possibly expect to get out of this person? Is it a purchase? Is it to get them to request a piece of lead bait? Is it to get them to give a referral? And then, so I kind of, it's a back and forth between those things, between who your avatar is and what your purpose is. So once I'm crystal clear on my purpose, I'm crystal clear on my target, next I want to go into my avatars, pains, and desires. Now sometimes if you sit to do a video, or if you sit to write an email, or do an ad, or a longer copy, or whatever you're doing, it's like you sit down and think really hard, well, what should I say? Or you just kind of wing it. It's much, much easier and faster if you first go through, okay, what's my purpose, who's my avatar, what are their pains and desires, and prompt yourself and just write those things down. Let's take let's just live do this, Dave. I want you to, if you and Todd can help me out here and look at the messages coming up. So let's take a new home buyer. Right now, what are the top of mind? What unanswered questions are swirling around in their head? What's the greatest fear of a new home buyer?
All right, so everybody, in questions, we want you to type in what are the things swirling around the home buyer's mind before they talk to you. So let's see how creative we can be. Also, Robert, people did ask if you were going to make these slides available as a handout. Is that something you're willing to share?
Why, yes, Dave. I've actually got some form after this, so.
Okay, so by the way, if you're watching this on video, this and whatever's better will be available in the link below. And if you're live on this call and you want to download this stuff, go to the video on our YouTube channel. It'll be posted by the end of the day, probably a couple hours, and there'll be links in the description below. Click on them there, and you'll get the value from Mr. Stover. So. Wow, our community. And
I can probably forward it for in a minute.
You know what this reminds me of, Dave? It reminds me of our FAQs that we did on our Facebook group, right? I mean, a lot of those, I think, address some of these pains and desires.
Yeah. I'm going to start reading some off. By the way, community is a little asleep. We don't have as many as I would have thought. But they are, what do I qualify for? So, like, what can I buy? you know, what loan options do I have? How much money do I need to buy a home? And what's this PMI thing all about? What's the first step? Where do I start? Like, you know, what do I do? Can I buy a home? You know, like, is it even a reality to me? What's my monthly payment? What's it going to cost me? You know, I mean, when I look at the down payment and the cost, what are the costs? Is my credit good enough? Like, you know, I don't even know what my credit is. I guess that kind of fits within qualifying. How nice of a home can I get? So I guess that also ties into qualifications. But I think people, you know, they're really just looking at a home. I want 3 bedrooms. Do I need a real estate agent? That's interesting. How long will it take? You know, how long does this take? So there you go, Stover. There's some thoughts.
I'm going to make a side note. If anybody goes back and listens to what Dave just read off, and we'll make this a race to see who does it first. If you go back and list those things, and then you did a PDF report that said, you know, the 5 or actually there's probably 10, the 10 most important things a new home buyer should know before they even think about looking at a house, right? So there's your headline, and then you go right through that list that was just read and slap it together as a PDF with a little cover on it. You got a tasty piece of lead bait right there that can go out to your own database. Hey, if you know anybody that right now is looking to buy a home, maybe at work they've been talking about it, maybe you have a family member, maybe you have adult children looking to buy a home, I just put together this report. Just say I want it and shoot me an email. I'll send it right off to you. Pro tip.
And by the way, riffing off of that, I don't know if everybody remembers the Facebook post from last week that Derek Cheney recommended. And if you did a version of that, but you put in these questions, I'll bet you get some leads off of Facebook. Now, remember, if you took that post from last week and you posted it last week, you probably don't want to do that one. Do it this week with this one, but maybe give it 2 weeks in the spirit of Gary Vee, you know, jab, jab, right hook. This is a right hook, you know, make sure that you're using Facebook appropriately, but I think this would be a great Facebook post. And it would be a great mortgage coach lead bait where you take this entry and then the part that the graphs and charts that Mortgage Coach fit, you talk about all of this, and then your punchline is, and I will show you exactly what you qualify for, and you will get a mobile app that is your exact qualifications and the loan options that you would be interested. Call me and you'll get this total cost analysis. I can just text it or email it to you. So that's another idea. Keep it rocking, Stover.
All right. So that's the power of just doing a brainstorm around it, and that's why I put these trigger questions in here, is to get your brain thinking about this stuff. So we got a purpose, we got our avatar, we got pain and desire. Now, and only now, do you look at yourself and go, what are my resources and solutions? Now, this call today is about Mortgage Coach and total cost analysis. But I kind of wanted to broaden this a bit for all of your leads and your emails and your videos and things like that. For example, we did some of the I did those little turbo coaching calls with folks, and a lot of them had specific skills in their background and in their past. For example, being a financial planner, that would be a huge advantage in your marketing messages and help you stand apart. So this is kind of an inventory of, you know, what aspects of my personal talents, history, and skills, and what aspects of Mortgage Coach will address those specific concerns I uncovered in pain and desires. So now you're coming up with your specific solutions, and you can kind of see the ad's already kind of writing itself as we go here. The video's starting to kind of sketch itself up. Like, for example, Mr. Blakely's updates to the buying process. That could be a standalone video that addresses their questions as they go through. A total cost analysis. How does it apply to a new home buyer? How specifically does it? A rent versus own sure as heck would. A move-up analysis, for example, for somebody else that you're looking at. So you think through and go, okay, here's the biggest fear or fears that I'm going to address that they have. What is the best tool or set of tools I have to address those? Now you're ready to create your videos and go through. So how do we create the video? And Do you just sit down and write and flow? There's a very specific, proven flow. I got this formula off a guy back in the 1920s. His name was Frank, something with a D. It's called the star chain hook. It's simple, but it's the fact. If you just think star, chain, hook. Star, what do I say in that first 10 seconds to get their attention? Chain is, what is the chain of logic I use to get to the hook, fishing guide? You know, how do I hook? What's the call to action that I'm going to land them in on? And so let's go over each of those. Star. Here's where one of the biggest misses was in the videos. A lot of people led with, hey, I want to talk to you about a total cost analysis. If I'm a second home buyer, I'm like, huh? So what people instinctively did was led with what's of interest to you or with your solution rather than the pains, the problems, etc. that people have. So how do you create a good star? There's a couple ways. What's surprising or what's a paradox? For example, I think most people are really shocked to hear that given their unique situation, the lowest interest loan isn't the lowest total cost loan. It's kind of shocking. So think about, and Dave, you can pop in because you know your software better than I do. What other very common surprises do people have as they go through the loan process that total cost analysis or mortgage coach brings to bear? You know, that whole paradox of a higher cost loan might be a lower cost, and that's what we used way back in the 90s on lead calls that work so effectively. Promise paying mechanism. How do I explain this really quick? Okay, a promise, get the best home loan for your situation. But often in the market, a lot of people are going, hey, I've got the best loan, I've got the cheapest loan, I've got this, right? So you need to stand apart. The way you do that is with a mechanism. For example, we'll take the total cost analysis. I prefer naming it something, but something to the effect of get the absolute best loan or lowest cost loan for your situation with, and then you can use total cost analysis. Then you can mention total cost analysis. If you just say total cost analysis, it means nothing to them. So you've got to hook with what their promise is before you hook with your unique mechanism. And the mechanism in this case is almost always going to be some aspect of mortgage coach. If you're on your own and doing lead gen and stuff apart from mortgage coach, it can be a lot of different things. Hot topic. For example, iPhone just released the new software that came out in the new upgraded phone, right? So a hot topic that's top of mind. A lot of people, at least half the universe, the other half's on Android, but half the universe is thinking iPhone something, right? I need to upgrade my iPhone operating system. What about the new 8? Do I get the X? So they've got that in their mind. So what we want to do, as one of the guys coined the phrase newsjacking, we want to go in and tie what we're doing to that interest. So going to Frank's video, I could do a simple thing on, or just the mere fact of the Mortgage Coach app, and tying in with a hot topic, I can go how your iPhone can help you save tens of thousands on your mortgage, on your home loan. How your iPhone can help you buy a better home. Something to that effect, where I'm tying with a topic in with a promise. Those make great stars or hooks. The driving questions, we brought a lot of those out with a new home buyer. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I want to jump in. So first of all, if you're on this call and you're listening and you can think of some stars from a mortgage coach perspective, share those. I would love to riff with this. We're getting some great feedback. People are loving this over. And by the way, I'm loving this. I want to make sure they heard that term, newsjacking.
Yeah.
That was hot. And then that concept of, hey, your phone can help you save tens of thousands of dollars on the purchase of your next home. Let me show you how. I thought that was spectacular. But here's what I know. I know this community is so creative, so smart. So whether you're here live or you're watching this video, let's get better together. I can't wait to see the next round of videos. I do want everybody to know that when we judge this next round, we're going to be using this framework. So I'm going to be looking, what was the star, what was the chain, What was the hook? Who is the audience? You know, what problem is it solving? What was the purpose? So hopefully you're taking notes, because the next round of videos will be judged around this framework. I'm going to share this with the other judges, and I just can't wait to see the next round. So Robert, we're at 9:46. I want to keep going because you are killing it, but I also want to make sure Coach Todd has. Todd, do you have any questions or comments this far?
No, I think it's awesome. I love this. I'm taking notes, and I took the notes on newsjacking as well, and I've got a full page going in my planner of notes. So I'm just being a student alongside the rest of you right now.
Yeah, full attribution. Right, it was Ryan Holiday came up with the phrase newsjacking, I believe. Just, I don't want to take credit for that one. I'll use it because it's hot, but.
Yeah, right on. We'll keep it going, Stover. And if you're on this call and you do have a question, post your questions in GoToWebinar.
So another thing is the driving questions people have. You know, the new home buyer, we went through those. How much, you know, if you're living in a home for a new home, you're probably wondering, how much home can I afford? Do I even need a realtor? Do I this? Do I that? And so you lead with those driving questions. Real quick, if we're doing video, I wouldn't do this in writing. I have branding, just a quick transition, and it's hello, this is Robert Stover. If you're a new home buyer, you probably right now are wondering, how much home can I afford? Can I even afford a home? What kind of loan do I need? What's the right loan? What's the lowest cost loan for me? This is Robert Stover with HJH Lending, and I'm going to answer those questions for you. Bam, and I go right into the chain. So there's your little branding bug you throw in. And there's, like Dave, your video guys could probably do a lot better with that. Some people would throw in the fancy graphics right there. But that's how you lead. You lead with the star, talk about surprise paradox, talk about their pain, talk about the promises, like Jenny led with a promise. You know, I reduced their cost by this and got them 100 grand to buy a pool, right? So that was a promise. So problem, promise, and mechanism. Go to a quick transition if they're doing video. Sorry about the desk shake there. And then go right into the chain. Chain is the most common chain on planet Earth is problem solution. So I just mentioned those problems. You go into you expand it, you make it a little bit worse, right? They're doing this, they're frustrated, they've got tons of papers and spreadsheets. They're not financial analysts, so what does all this mean anyway? Well, I've got a solution for you. It's called Mortgage Coach, or it's called Total Cost Analysis, and it will put all those things side by side in a very easy to understand way. For example, story. Boom. I was talking with so-and-so, and they had this, and they did this, and we were able to do this, right? Proof. That's another way, which is to go, you know, right now, according to the Department of Real Estate, blank's happening. According to Newsweek, according to the New York Times, according to the LA Times, the Orange County Register, the Greenville, I forget what the thing was in Greenville, sorry, the Sentinel. Anyway, so you go right into your proof. Here, for some of you, some of the purpose of the video is to teach and educate. Here's a great place to add in your teaching and education if you want to go with a little bit longer video where you explain how things work and teach them and things like that. So you can actually move these elements around and create unique chains. There's, I've got 12. I've got it's a whole other course. But anyway, I wanted to make it simple for you. Problem, solution, story is one of the most common chains on planet Earth. You can throw in authority and teaching mixed in with that. You can lead, I wouldn't ever lead with solution. Solution's never a prime one. You can lead with the story though. You know what, if you've got those problems, I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you about John. John was having this, and you go right through. He's struggling with this, that. Then he discovered, and you go into the solution as you go through it. So that's the chain. Let's get to hook. Real quick, give me a call. Email me. Download this PDF that I've created, right? So I want you to view. If you know of anybody looking at a home, send them this link because it could save them tens of thousands of dollars, and you'll be on their Christmas card list and get the best presents for the next 20 years. Seriously. All right? That's your hook. So this makes sure that we get videos. This is how I write, right? So I tried to take it. It eliminates the problems because we're going right through. What's the purpose? There's no more fuzzy purpose videos. We go clear on who my avatar is, who my audience is. There's no more mixed audiences within the message. I'm zoned in on what their problems, their fears, their frustrations are, and that gives me the fuel I need to create a great hook, a great chain, and a powerful hook. Here's what's next. I've done a sheets for you, so it not only includes the prompt questions, but little worksheets so you can just jam these suckers out. You can use both side by side. Jam out who's my purpose, what's my avatar, what is my pain and desires, what resources and solutions, specifically address those pains and desires. We're not doing an inventory of your life. It's only specific to the purpose. Then your quick template, what's the possible star I could use, what's the chain, I want to talk about this, and I'll leave with this story, and then I'll do this, and then what's my call to action? Hey, give me a call right now, or send this to your coworkers or whatever it may be. So I put together in a worksheet that you guys could have. Good?
Heck yeah, that's good. Guys, what do you think? What do you think of what Mr. Silver just brought down for us? You know, by the way, does this meet the goals of why we get together every Friday at 9 o'clock? Do you think that the past hour is going to help you make more time, make more money in less time? Heck yeah. So this is fantastic. If anybody has a question, raise your hand. By the way, everybody is just loving what you just put together for us, Stover.
Yeah, I would love to hear from the group. What insights, as they've looked at this today, what's the biggest insight or aha that they're getting? I'd love to hear what where they're at after this.
Yeah, no, we will do that. So, Carol, I have unmuted you. You had your hand raised, Carol. Did you have a question or a comment? Carol Hargett. All right, I'm going to put you back on mute, Carol. We're not hearing you. I'm going to lower your hand. If anybody does have a question or a comment, raise your hand, and I'll bring you in. Todd, what, if you wouldn't mind answering that for the crew, what has been your biggest takeaway? Frank Blakely, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand and ask you what your biggest takeaway has been. And in the last 7 minutes, let's do some rapid feedback on that.
You know, I just love the fact we got a process, right? I mean, to me, anytime you can say, all right, here's the step-by-step keys, but I just love the bullet point, right? Purpose, avatar, pain, desire, and resources and solutions. I think that Robert just gave us a roadmap as a group to go back and use that as the filter going forward when we're creating a video to make sure that we're meeting those things. And, you know, I know you've paid Robert lots of money over the years to get this kind of advice one-on-one, and just love the fact that, Robert, you took the time and you're willing to share with our community, because I think this is huge.
No problem. I was like looking at everything, and I went like, okay, I got to do this. You know what I mean? It's like I know what they need, and so I figured we'd get it to them.
Yeah, so here at Mortgage Coach, we are working on a playbook and some cheat sheets. You know, how are people shooting videos? What camera are they using? What tripod are they using? If they are doing editing, what editing software they're using? If they're outsourcing, who are they outsourcing to? I want to remind everybody that I was able to negotiate just something amazing with Funnelbox. The CEO, who's a local Portland leader, is also going to be giving some advice. Him and I are going to be doing a video to give you advice on videos, and a reminder that they're willing to do some professional editing. I mean, this is the same editing team that does Nike's YouTube channels could be upgrading your YouTube channels. So check out the YouTube post. I'll put a link below to Rob's information. Frank, I have unmuted you. What was your biggest takeaway from today's conversation?
Biggest takeaway, can you hear me?
We can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, so just the educational piece versus the ad, and being more pinpoint with the story and the outcome that we're looking to have. So I have my team with me in the office right now, so we basically have like 3 more videos that we think we're going to be putting together that could be under a minute, but more to the point, and measuring the difference of mortgage ease in language versus consumer ease in language, and how we put that together.
Love it, love it. Well, stay on. I'm going to keep you off mute as we wrap up this call. I do want to unmute a few other folks. One of the people I was going to unmute just left. Let's see. Tristan.
Got a couple hands up there, Dave.
I'll get back to those. Tristan, what was your biggest takeaway?
You know, I think a lot of the content is stuff that we kind of know pieces of. I love how this kind of puts it in a process and a checklist where we can kind of go through and make sure we're meeting all of the criteria rather than, I think a lot of us just meet pieces of it rather than everything.
Love it. Thanks for the feedback. Tim Lamb, you have been unmuted. What was your takeaway, or do you have a question?
Hey, Dave. Takeaways for me, since I'm diving headfirst into all this video stuff, is how important the headline is, the hook, the catch, essentially, what's going to draw people there. And then for me, it was making a single topic, trying not to put too much information in these videos on answering one specific question and answering multiple questions with multiple different videos. And then that story sell. I think we're going to add stories into all the videos that we're doing because people connect with that. Those are my takeaways.
Love it. And by the way, I do want to remind you, Tim, the hook is at the back. It's the star. You know, when you reference that, it's the star that we've been missing. So great feedback. Can't wait to see your next video, Tim. I know you're going to crush it. And let's see if there's anyone else I'm going to put on the spot and jump in. Yeah, I think Rick Gary. I'm going to unmute you. What's up, Rick? Are you in a place where you can talk, Rick, or is there some? Rick Gary, you've been unmuted.
He's on a cruise ship.
All right, we're putting you back on mute. My long-lost buddy, Robert Schaefer. Robert, what were your big takeaways today? What's up, Robert? Robert Schaefer.
David.
All right, we're gonna go into wrap-up mode. So, Robert, thank you for the gifts. If you're watching this video, first of all, like it. Let us know that you watched it. Think of the like as I'm checking it off the box. I watched this video, and then share it. Anybody on your team, share it to your manager. Anybody that you think could make more money in less time as a mortgage professional by making more effective videos, whether they're at the front end to be a lead magnet or whether they're within the process to save time and make more money. Share this video with anybody you think would benefit from it. Coach Todd Bookspan, why don't you wrap it up for the last minute with any action items for everybody?
1 minute to wrap up. Love it, just like your video. So I think you guys were handed a gift by Robert. I think that follow what Frank just did, right? He's sitting here live with his team, and while he's live with his team, he's actually coming up with his next video topics. And so I would do a couple of calls of action, right? Spend a couple minutes, review this video, right? I always say your best time to do a jam session is coming out of this session. If you weren't on the call 2 weeks ago with Kelly Zitlow, where she talked through the basics of video, I would definitely put that on your to-do list. And then ultimately, think through the other thing that Robert had kind of hidden in there. He talked about, create that PDF report of the 10 most important things a new home buyer should know before buying a home, right? I mean, that's like such an easy hook for you guys to do and create. And so I think as you guys go back through, follow that roadmap that he gave, and then just jump in. Dave's running the contest again to do your video. Why not do it? Why not get feedback from this great panel of judges that he's put together and figure out how to up your game and get more loans?
Right on. So couple thoughts. I want everybody to realize that there is a playlist, referral magnet playlist. Also, there is a playlist called Video Mastery. So every time I've interviewed someone and it's been centered around creating great videos, there's a playlist. So there's a whole treasure chest of how to create videos. This will certainly go to the top of the list of this particular playlist in Mortgage Coach Land. But some of them are as short as 2 minutes, where like Kelly Zitlow's like, how do I create a video? And I think it's a 2 or 3 minute video. Wally created a 3-minute video. So, some of them are just quick hits on how to make better videos. And then some of them are bigger, bigger calls. Like I said, this call will go towards the top of this list because I think it was that good. But just want to draw everybody's attention. You want to get your Mortgage Coach Master's degree in videos, here's a place to check it out. So this call is a wrap. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. I am going to push a poll as you leave today's call. Let us know what you thought of today's call. So please fill out this poll question as you leave. And with that said, have a great weekend, everybody. Again, as you leave, let us know what you thought of today's call. Was it awesome with tons of value? Got a few takeaways? Some reminders, solid? Or was it just okay and we can do better? Let us know what you thought of today's call. Bye, everybody.